Hi, everybody. You might be familiar with Kidoyo from school, where we bring computer science into your classrooms, but there's a whole different side of Kidoyo that you may not have seen before. We got our start working on fun projects, robotics, and games, and we're hoping to bring you that this summer with Kidoyo Dark Mode. Kidoyo Dark Mode is going to be Kidoyo's summer streaming service where we bring different projects, fun games, game jams, and all sorts of things throughout the summer. So we're going to get this started off by talking about some of the hackathons that we had this past school season. But before we did so, Devin, did you want to go over anything regarding dark mode, any of the events going on this summer?
Sure. Yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Dev. Welcome to Kiddo Dark Mode stream. This is the first time we've been doing this other than our live hackathon productions. And we have some of our MC hosts here today to do a little recap for you on the exciting events that have been taking place over the past 3, 4, 5 months. And just to give people an idea of what we are, Kidoyo. OYO stands for Own Your Own. It's fundamental to what we do. Everything that we teach has a little bit of an entrepreneurial spin to the skills that kids are building with functional literacy embedded, learning how to program, getting involved in hands-on maker projects, and diving deep into bringing some functional literacy into their lives. And as a public benefit nonprofit organization, we have been around for quite a while, over a decade at this point. And many of the students that we've worked with from the time they were 8 years old are now graduating high school, and hopefully you're going to see them today a little bit in some of our segments, participating as the leaders that are driving a significant portion of what we do over the summer. We run an unlimited summer of learning, and student leaders demonstrate their skills and lead sessions live for others of their peers to participate in. And we try to record those sessions and make them available to people to follow along in whatever their subject of interest is. So I'm going to introduce you to Mentor Melora, who's going to get us started reviewing some of our past efforts, and the Dom King, who has happily joined us today, and we're excited to have him. Mentor Sunny, Lord White Bear, who is one of the brain trusts building the Code Conquest app you'll see a little bit of here, and obviously Mentor Doug, not funny, aka not funny at all. All right.
Jabroni.
So, Mentor Melora, why don't you take us in?
Hey, everybody, I'm Mentor Melora. Thanks for joining us today. Really excited about dark mode. I'll just say a quick piece about that. We were thinking about kind of some new ways that we could come at our audience this year and all year long. If you're part of Kidoyo and you're part of our schools, you know that you stream at us all year long. We get your answers or we get your solutions to challenges we create. We get questions on all of the walls and communities, and we really are there to help the classrooms move forward and to help the kids move along their own learning progression. We decided this summer to flip it around, and we're going to go dark in that the walls all go dark in OYO class. Everybody who's talking is coming to our new Code LI community's new dark mode view. This Code LI was created really as a way to connect anybody who's interested in creative computing, working together, figuring out ways that we can keep pushing our skills together. So if you do want to participate in this dark mode moment where we've kind of locked down the communication stream, join our Code LI community. You talk on the wall there, and from time to time we will pull some things off the wall, maybe take some questions, and throughout the times we run this, highlight some cool student work. But before we diverge too much into some of that student work on the main level, we're going to talk to you a little bit about our hackathons. So a number of years ago, in one of our summer programs, we kind of came up with this idea, and I will say not we necessarily, it was Lord White Bear came up with this idea that said, what if we could combine this idea of battle and strategy, playing a map, with coding and showing off skills? And the idea really just resonated with everybody. And over the years, we progressed a little more into having an actual app. This app is running school events. And here on Long Island, where Kidoyo is located, we have several hackathon divisions that run. And it's a little different than your traditional hackathon. Traditional hackathon, people come together with general themes and everybody works together generally over a 24 to 48 hour time period. This fits into a smaller time period and has more of a head-to-head battle kind of format. So this year we ran 3. They all ran virtual. And we started off with our junior division, which is for students in grades 7 and 8. You do not have to be in a OYO class district. It definitely helps because your skills are pushed. But if you're in a school that doesn't support OYO class, you can still push to have a team come in through your school. This year we had special guest MC for our events, the Dom King. And it was really kind of your first time being on the inside and seeing the competitive level. So I'm going to ask you, what do you think was maybe the most surprising about how this event ran?
Just the sheer excitement. It was, it was great to participate, and it was great to, get to announce all the students. Just the creativity that they displayed was unbelievable. When we did the junior division, which was comprised of grades 7 and 8, I could not believe the sheer volume of work that was produced by the 16 teams and 160 participants that were there. My understanding, and we could ask one of the mentors to keep me honest here, but it was 600 plus projects were submitted. And I kind of knew we were onto something pretty big there. I loved seeing the school spirit. I loved watching the board change. It became very, very exciting as we got to see, territories vied for and then territories taken over. And I thought it was, that was the part that I think was the most impressive, though, was just the sheer volume of work and seeing what the people, produced and how quickly they produced it, the students.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. And what we're seeing here on the main screen over to in the center here is the actual map that was played for the junior division. And each time there's an event, there's a new map, and there will be a theme involved. So this theme actually came from Lord Whitebear as well. You want to tell us a little bit about this map design, Lord Whitebear?
Yeah, sure. So this map, which we called Battle of Shirayama, is based off of the post-Meiji Restoration war between the samurai and, as being the old guard part of Japan, revolting against the current new republic Japan mindset that came from the West. And so this map is a selection of Japan, northern Japan, that was a region in which Shirayama took place, but the area that the map takes place in is a much broader scheme than Shirayama, with a bit of fantasy elements too, as you can see with koi fish and a bit more like artistic representation of the period. Yeah,
definitely. I think we always try to do a little bit of a different spin from the pure historical context. But when you're looking at the types of projects that come in, now the projects all have to match the theme. So we had a lot of cool themes going on in here and a lot of different projects. Each team also comes in before the competitions run on Fridays. So on Mondays, the teams get to enter the map for the first time. And on Tuesday morning, they get the theme revealed to them. So they have from that time until the Thursday before the competition to work together as a team to create what's called a capital defense project. And the capital defense project is important for 2 things. One is it's your first time that your competition kind of gets a little chance to take a look at you. What skills are you coming with? Who's on your team and what are we looking at? The second thing is in the last 30 minutes of the competition, those capitals become attackable. And the game can change wildly at that point. And we saw a lot of different strategies put in play. This year's winners went to Manhasset School District. They have been longtime learners in the Kid OYO learning system, and they really came to play this year, brought a ton of creativity. It was a tough battle because Mineola was in there fighting for the top 2, but at the end of the day, it shook out. Oh, we are still recording.
Okay, we're gonna roll forward because this is our fail forward episode, and we'll see what we can deal with behind the scenes on that. But back to the Dom King's question.
So Mentor Sonny, tell us about the first few minutes of the hackathon, and then talk to us a little bit about what the last few minutes are like of the hackathon.
The first couple of minutes are generally a lot slower. This is because a lot of the students are finally actually seeing the map and the different territories. So they actually have to figure out the kind of projects they want to make. When they get closer to, say, the end, it really depends on the type of the grade levels, I want to say. For a lot of the younger kids, that's when you get like the sporadic submissions about different things that they might have changed about their current projects. With the older kids, it's generally, I still want to say, a bit slower just because they're trying to build those more advanced projects. So even like at the end there, it's not as sporadic as, say, with the younger kids.
Do you have a favorite moment from any of the three?
For the most part, I really did like the hackathon with the youngest kids the most, just because you kind of see all those different projects. You can see the energy with the kids in there. You can see the different kinds of creativity they have. Sometimes there were those projects where it was very, very similar, so it was kind of hard to judge. But with the younger kids, you can see they have, I want to say, a lot more creativity with it, and they seem to submit a lot more.
I think personally for me, I think one of my favorite, I don't know if it was my favorite, but it definitely is my top 5 favorite moments of the hackathon, was for the upper elementary division, when Hop Hog, the Coding Eagles, pulled it out and how excited their students were, and just watching everybody jump up and down in their war room. I think that was definitely one of my highlights. Being an East End guy, I'm a little partial to Eastport, South Manor. They did a heck of a job. And it was interesting to see that, Suffolk, after getting shut out in the first, Suffolk County getting shut out in the first, the first several hackathons, the fact that they pulled off the last 2, I think it shows how, how diverse coding has become throughout Long Island.
Yeah, I think that's a really great point too, because we are seeing more and more creativity pushing younger and younger. And it really is the culmination of the work that these kids are doing all year long. They really are pushing their skills, and they have this to aim at. So to come out, and you see these kids really getting to flex their muscles. To me personally, and I'll have to say too, I think the upper L division was maybe one of the more exciting ones for me too, was the level of creativity and diversity you saw in the projects coming through. It was just stellar.
Speaking about some of the projects, we looked at how this map turned out, and you can see that Manhasset won, but why don't we take a look at some of the capital defense projects? Manhasset, you are correct. Why don't we take a look at some of the projects that have gone through? So I actually have the capital defense project for this map, the winning capital defense project here. I just reload this.
Now, one thing while he's loading this was interesting is just to watch strategy. Some teams didn't give us their the real capital defense project until that final 30 minutes. That was really interesting. Okay, so this is made with Python, right, Doug?
It is. So this is Python Mini. I had to play this game a little bit before because it's a bit of a torture maze. And if you don't know where all the positions are, you'll die just like that. So I think this alternates a lot as we go through.
You know what I like about this project too is you could have just made it just a simple maze and the coding and everything, but the artistic flair they put into this, it really makes the difference when you're seeing submissions come in and somebody's taken the time to really polish the art behind it or the graphics of the player coming in. Oh, I see what this is. This is a little bit of kind of like the Chips Challenge reveal map. This is, we'll have to credit mentor Sabrina, who's not with us today, but Mentor Sabrina really lit kids' brains on fire by teaching how to make mazes with this old school chips challenge kind of game. And we've probably seen thousands of mazes coming in, but they keep getting more and more creative. So this was the winning Capital Defense. Nice
And
project.
I'm going to go back to the main map just because I'm not good at that game and it's very frustrating.
It's
Stuck in the dark, can't find his way out.
It's only great when you know what the answer is.
Oh, thank God the Dom Kings refreshed his outfit. We were getting a little bored there.
Well, we were talking about how many students, and then I was trying to think of how many combinations of Kid Oyo swag I wore and repped for the competition. So that was also an infinite number.
That was fun. It was great to see like the administrators come out and support the event too, because obviously we know none of this is going to happen unless we have all the players in place to make the yeses and bring this experience to the kids. But we've really seen a huge turnaround in terms of everyone's overall excitement and belief in just what a young person can do with creative computing. These hackathon events were highlighted here. One of the other things we had, and I think we have it up here on the screen as well, is all of the teams designed digital banners and then digital avatars to represent themselves. So it just kind of plays in again to, art is so important in this whole creative computing process. We don't want to look at things that are not appealing.
Things have come a long way from our first event. When everything was held live, we were all in the same room, in gymnasiums, getting 100 people in the same room to compete. Now we're completely virtual by necessity, but also I think what we're finding is that as the entire community moves to virtual, people are becoming much more comfortable. And really, whether it is student learning or teacher PD or hackathons, really the experience is getting better and better every single time. And so for this year, having virtual banners, having all the projects, having our judges being distributed all over the place, and yet still being able to participate and see all this was great. And really, back to your outfit changes, Matt, that was one of the most commonly
discussed,
pointed to fun parts of the stream by students who were participating. They enjoyed watching that whole thing take place. So
I have to tell you, I don't know if when we're back live and in person, I don't know how we're going to be able to work that out.
We're going to have to give you your own little
I'm going to need like a
dressing room.
You're gonna
trailer or
need a
something.
changing room.
Basically.
Maybe you could just layer it all on top of you and like strip layers off as you go.
It'd be a very warm day for the first half, though.
Yeah, it would be very warm. My other question on is when you talk about the competition, one of the things that has to be pointed out too is the diversity of how the teams were spread out. So some teams had, their whole team in one war room. Some teams had, some of their participants remote. One team even had their captain remote.
Yeah.
So, because of the pandemic, everyone had to be more creative. Everybody had to come up and, I don't, and again, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that the level of work suffered. I felt like the level of work was outstanding. And again, I'm excited to do this in person. I really am. But part of me will miss the fact that it's when it's remote, because I did enjoy the remote part of it.
Yeah, no doubt. I think I'm torn too. It was extremely enjoyable to have that, and I think you're right. The work quality was off the charts.
Well,
This time was a little different too, because the coaches got to be more involved with the teams because of the non-live part.
Yeah, I really enjoyed talking to the coaches in the heat of battle. I thought that was a lot of fun. I think that really added to the experience, at least for me. And then, of course, speaking with a lot of the Mallory you had alluded to earlier, seeing the support from upper administration of school districts, like really forward-thinking school leaders who could see the value in this, and anybody who saw this, I think. In person. Again, if you look at the high school, right, the high school division goes grades 9 through 12. You had 15 teams, over 150 participants. That's the one that Eastport South Manor pulled out. If you
got that map showing.
Yeah, if you look at that and what they did, it'd be hard not to be. I was super excited to be part of that. After doing the junior division, I couldn't wait for the high school division. And again, just seeing how many students were involved and able to make stuff work, I really think speaks volumes about where we are now as a community.
I think so too. This was, you mentioned that each one was a little different. This is the high school map that's showing here. And this had a very different strategy than the other maps because the corners had dragons sitting in the corners, and those were more points for the team who went after that. So you really got to see strategy play out, and it had to play out quick. So I think one of the things that Eastport South Manor did well was they were right on their toes and they knew exactly what to do with that map. They came in and they plotted their strategy first, and then they just went to work at it. And obviously they pulled it off. It worked for them. It was a great showing.
I think that this event, really, the format of it, I think gave some focus to some things that has always been a priority at Kiddo, but it's been somewhat hard to pull out sometimes. For old school programmers like myself that have been stuck in the basement and just doing our own thing, devoid of social contact for years, that has been erased by this type of a competition. Credit to Lord Whitebear for really putting his finger on things that he was motivated to be a part of, thinking strategically, having to have a team leader whose job is to keep the entire team on the same page strategically and communicating and splitting up work. And, that division of effort is something that when you got a captain who is virtual and the rest of the team in a different location, I mean, that is an advanced skill set to even think that you're going to be able to keep everybody going in the same direction, but yet they do it. And the coaches are all there and the teachers are watching that happen. It really pushes some differentiated skill sets to the point where now we're really seeing it in our mentoring. We for a long time would be on university campuses and get freshmen and sophomore who would come in, and we just tell them, we'll train you if you don't know some of the languages beyond Java, which most schools would start with. Now we've got high school students who can program in 7, 8 languages, and many university students who are still coming in having very limited familiarity when they get started as a freshman, and can be a little intimidated about some of these students that have been learning for many, many years and started to adapt their skills to what is actually available for them to learn at a much quicker pace. So I think it's exciting for where this is all going.
Yeah, and I'll be interested to see the participation level next year. I think there'll be even more students. If anything, we've seen the competitions have grown. Not ideal conditions last year, but again, everybody made it work. And it comes down to like any competition where a team is involved, it comes down to good leadership. So having a great coach, having a great team captain, really you could see how that differentiates some of the teams. And you could see the teams that fell behind early that roared back. And then you could see the teams that, kind of struggled, but got out there and just kept banging away and trying to make a go at it. It was really impressive to see it. And if you look again at some of the, just some of the projects and what the students have put together,
it's hard
not to be impressed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so this is one of the projects made for that dragon map you saw at the high school level. So the project they needed to make was a dragon generator. So that's a very vague project they're given. I actually had no idea what kind of projects you could come up with such an open-ended description, but we saw some awesome ones, and this one in particular ended up winning. So
Didn't
if you
this
see
have to
here,
have a bias element mixed into it too, where they had to show some sort of algorithmic bias, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
algorithms
and that's
biased to their own dragon.
yeah, so it needs to be biased towards their own dragon. And although this looks pretty simple, right? It's just one of those games where you kind of hold down the space bar and then let go, and then try to get it to go around a certain number of times. What's really difficult is it's varying its speed to go around and to move through that arc in a way that's biased ahead of time towards your dragon is very difficult, and I don't think any of us knew exactly how they did it at first glance. And anytime you can do something like that, it's if we don't know what you did, we're even more impressed. So this one ended up winning, though there were a few really good projects for this
And
hackathon map.
this one came out of W.T. Clark, who also happened to be last year's high school division winners. So they're definitely bringing a strong game when they come in. They were uprooted by Eastport South Manor, obviously, but the other thing I liked about this project and many of these is the kids not only they found comedy in the idea that there could be algorithmic bias already pre-included into something, and they showed off their sense of humor. So to me, I know I voted for this because not only was I impressed with, like what Doug said, the difficulty of creating that differentiation of movement based on an input and then a predetermined bias in the algorithm, but then they brought out humor in each response, and that to me just threw it over the edge. That it made it enjoyable, you know. It was cool.
So just to show you, there is actually more than one result that you can get from that project. This is one of the dragons that is not W.T. Clark's, just to show you that it is heavily biased towards their dragon.
Nice. Now, I think one of the upcoming segment that we have coming up next is we're gonna do this regularly, is kind of like, how did they do that segment where we break into the code a bit, explain what tactics were used, what thought process was used, and perhaps even a little lesson segment on it going down the road.
Speaking of which, we do have a segment prepared for that, and it's actually based on the Capital Defense Project that won this map, or rather, one of the Capital Defense projects that won this map. So this is the upper elementary division, and this is the first time we ran it. We didn't really know what we were going to get, but I think I can speak for everyone and say that we were blown away with the projects that we received. We were not expecting many of them that came in. I had a hard time actually finding a project that I could use to teach everyone because it was just so complex that it'd just be hard to fit into a normal amount of time for a lesson.
And we're talking about kids in grades 4 to 6 when we talk about the upper elementary. So to hear that in context with that really does, that's something to really pay attention to, is the skill sets we're seeing at grades 4 and 6 right now. It's a whole new paradigm shift from what we were seeing 4 or 5 years ago.
Well, they submitted well over 900 projects.
Yeah.
Again, the sheer volume of their production is just unbelievable.
I know we had some behind the scenes fodder with the coach afterwards, and the coach here told us that their students were holding virtual lessons for each other using the Yo-Yo Class platform, teaching each other more advanced skills to make sure that when they came here, they were prepared. And they swept the floor. They took away Best Capital Defense. I think they won the Best Team banner, and they also obviously won the event itself. So this was a really strong showing by Hauppauge. Kind of excited to see what they do. And actually, speaking of a little like cross convergence here across Suffolk County, I saw that the coach for I was part of it. The coach for Hauppauge Hackathon team who won is actually running some enrichment programs for Eastport South Manor School District throughout the summer, which is, again, just more exposure for these young kids, get them going and get them ready for the jobs that are coming at them when they're in high school and college.
Right. More.
Yeah, I said it earlier. I feel like Suffolk is coming on strong. They kind of were late adopters. The county was kind of a late adopter in getting into the program. But now if you look, there's so many school districts, and the fact that, again, we're going to run an enrichment program right out here, I think that's phenomenal.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, they're putting Nassau on notice. I have a lot of friends in Nassau, and I'm sure I know for a fact a couple of school districts in Nassau are absolutely gunning to be the champs next year. Like they're already in training, and unlike the NCAA, there's no blackout rules of when you're allowed to get ready and when you're not. Since this is an educational endeavor, so I think that's terrific. And I know for a fact there is a couple of school districts that are already engaged in trying to figure this out. So I'm glad to hear that that we're doing some stuff out here as well. And again, I'm not biased. I'm not biased towards Suffolk. It was nice to see Suffolk make a strong statement, winning 2 out of 3.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited to see what next year brings. I don't think the judging is going to get any easier for us. I know that.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to take a look at this capital defense project now. That's great. This was so impressive. This is coming out of kids in 4th through 6th grade. I just want to remind you of that again one more time.
And I want to put a little bit of highlight on this. So I'm going to refresh this page and I'll explain it, but just watch for some of the animation that happens when I refresh it. So this is a web page that actually hosts all of the individual projects that each team member of this team made. And this web page, first of all, you have kids developing a web page using like from the ground up HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and they put in their own animations for making the text scroll in and everything like that. And when you're talking about kids on the 4th to 6th grade level, that's pretty crazy. So their project features their ship, and as you hover around, each section of this boat actually is a link to one of their projects. So I'll just click on this one, for example, and it brings us to one of the hatch projects that was developed. So it's taken a second for it to load, but let's see if I can go full screen on this. Maybe not. So this is a game.
Was also thematic too, right?
Yes. The music's a little loud on this, but the idea, I believe, is to try to fire at each other. It's a little bit difficult when you have a stream going and 2 sets of hands to control these characters. So I'm just going to go ahead and cheat and try to win.
At least you're admitting it.
Yeah. But as you can see here, you have earned the last digit of the code, which is 9. So essentially you need to play through all of the games in this ship in order to get all the digits to a code that will unlock, I guess, the next section.
Yeah, so let me focus on that for 1 second here, because for me, that's what pushed it over the edge. Not only was I impressed with the things that you pointed out, is this is raw HTML and CSS that these kids are building this with, the thought process and the creativity and how enjoyable they made it. You had to go on a scavenger hunt of sorts, something like a code cache, which is another type of an event we run, where you're searching through, playing the games to unlock a code that you then can unlock the final thing. And for me, that's, if you can entertain us while also showing us this a massive skill set that you have, I mean, top notch. So impressed. I think people will be talking about this project for a while.
And
I don't know
this
if we
is
mentioned, but these are the blimps that were arriving at the island. So they had to show us how it was equipped. So this is really pure creativity.
That is a good point. If you go and look back at the map, which I'll transfer to in just a second, you'll see that each team has their own blimp as a capital. And if we go back, you'll see we have that in this map right here as well. So just like you said, this is a very good representation. It got everybody on the team working on their own projects to create one cohesive thing. Before we get going to some of the next segments, does anybody want to say something regarding anything regarding the hackathons that we haven't already covered?
I just want to let people know one more time that this is a repetitive annual hackathon event. This year, we will run them again. The main events will happen in the spring, as always. Information will go out to schools in the fall, so you can start forming your teams. And teams are practicing now. They are going through skill skill and drill sets. They're going using our skill dash maps. They are running inter-district hackathons to prep, to get teams ready. So you'll see a lot of activity coming over the fall, but stay tuned. And if you want to enter a team, if you're watching this and you're a teacher from a district that's not currently using OYO class, or you're even from out of state someplace and you want to join, you're still welcome to join. You just need to reach out to us at KidOyo, and it's info@kidoyo.com for more information. And we'll be happy to share that with you. The more the merrier. Let's all raise our skills together.
Hey, in less than 1 minute, can you tell us, if somebody is looking to do it, is there any recommendation as far as something that they should practice or be, ready to do if they're going to jump into one of these competitions?
Great question. So,
Yeah, well, let me take that. So
In less than a minute.
In less than a minute, you're going to have a trajectory of skills. There is no standard pathway for learning how to program and being prepared for the real world. But all these students from upper elementary all the way through high school are going to experience Python. They're going to experience HTML, CSS. They all have their own domains where they host their own websites, build portfolios and their projects, as well as they're going to use the Scratch language that will give them the ability to build prototypes of projects and really express their creative computing. So, the biggest takeaway is that here, they have pure access to their editors. They're always able to take their code and run it locally on a local IDE. We're not putting them in some pop computing IDE that really is kind of aimed at little kids. It doesn't really matter your age. We've got sixth graders who are passing the AP CSA test. So I think anyone can approach this, but it's really important that you get them in and let them see their peers succeeding with this type of learning and being able to compete with each other and also set their own context for what's possible at these various ages.
did he make it in a minute?
He was a little over, but we will
Dev
give it.
minute. It's a dev minute.
course.
Those minutes are always a little bit extra.
He had the preamble. That's why. If you take out the preamble.
We like
But-
to refer to him as the paragraph. You're not going to get a shorter response.
But to tag on to that, if you were looking to up your skills, stick along for the rest of the stream. We have a couple of different lessons coming up. We have some Hatch lessons, one going over the Capital Defense project you just saw. We also have a game review where we're going to be reviewing, which game is it again? Lord White Bear?
The game that we're reviewing for the first game review is Deep Rock Galactic.
That's right. So we'll be reviewing Deep Rock Galactic, and at the end, around 6:30 or so, we're going to wrap up, but we are going to announce our Game Jam theme. So every week during the summer, we are going to be releasing a Game Jam theme, and your task is to create a game according to that theme. Anyone can participate. We're going to have prizes and badges for anyone who does. We'll also be giving out winners, and we're also going to have a tournament for the student mentors. So the student mentors are mentors who have been training with us as students when they were young. They've gotten so good and they've grown older, and now they work with us as mentors. They have crazy skills. So I had the idea, or I think one of them actually did, to put them on a tournament bracket. So throughout the summer, we're going to be showing off their projects that they make as well. Before we transition into the next segment, which is the Capital Defense lesson, I did just want to wish Sunny a happy birthday. Today is her birthday. She stuck around for this
Poor
entire
Sunny.
intro segment. And I have been
Happy
holding this in the
birthday.
background just...
And lest mentor Doug think he's getting away with anything, tomorrow is mentor
It's his
Doug's
birthday.
Happy birthday! Woo!
So I'll do this for the two of us, Sunny. I'm just going to blow out these candles here.
Nice.
There we go.
Nicely done.
All right. So before we get going, does anybody have any last remarks?
On to
No,
the
just can't
lesson.
wait till next year.
Yep.
Yeah, we can't wait to have you back, Dom King. Love having you on screen every time we get a chance.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, and you can count on me for next year. Can't wait.
Awesome.
Thanks for joining us, Dom King. See you soon.
Thank you.
All right,
right,
Doug,
everybody.
roll on.
Stick around for the next segments. You can see some of the schedule below. All the times are rough, but we have some games that you can make, some projects that you can work on, and we have that Game Jam release at the end of the stream. So stick around for that. Welcome back. Now we're going to take a look at one of the hatch projects done by one of Hoppog's team members, going by the alias Duh It's Me. So this is a pretty cool project, and today we're actually going to see if we can build at least some of the basics of this project, because there's some interesting game development concepts going on in here. So I'm just going to play through the game and explain what's going on, and then we'll take a look at what we can do to get some of this functionality going. So the directions say that we need to fix the wires, and let's go ahead and click start and try to do that. So you can see here we have some kind of maze going on, and if I navigate up into the walls, I go back to the beginning, but you may be thinking this is like a regular maze you've done before, but I assure you it's a bit different. Watch what happens as we move to the right. Once we get to the center of the screen, the character no longer moves. It's actually the stage that moves around it. Now, our goal is to collect these wires. Each time we collect a wire, it's going to lock us out for a little bit of time. And then we have to navigate around and try to find where the rest of these wires are. This is a pretty good challenge because you actually don't know where the wires are. You kind of got to navigate around. You can't see the whole map at once. And actually, as I'm looking at this, it kind of reminds me of, to some extent, the same map design as like a game like Among Us. Like, not that it's the same idea, but you are walking around and having not the whole screen available at once. And I think it may just be that you have to fix things that's making me think of that. But I think I saw the wires down below, so I'm actually going to hit the wall and go back to the beginning. Awesome. So you'll also notice that I have some time left. Fortunately, this isn't too challenging. So I think I'm going to finish this with enough time to spare. And it's going to make me wait 10 seconds. And after I do, I think that's all that I needed to do to beat the game. Let's see. Yes. So I've beaten the game, and this was actually part of a whole larger project that you may have seen before, where every project gets you a digit of a code. In this case, we got our code from here, which is number 3. So that's generally the project. So let's go ahead and see if we can create something like this on our own. So I'm going to click create at the top. You can do this in Hatch if you have a Kidoyo passport. You can also follow along with Scratch, I think, if you that's all you have available to you. So I'm going to name my project. CDP project, save it, expand the editor, expand the stage. All right. So I'm going to keep the Yo-Yo-Bot as my main player sprite. I'm just going to shrink him down though. That's pretty big. If you recall, that was he was a lot smaller. Or the player sprite was a lot smaller relative to the stage. And the very first thing I'm going to do is I am going to start designing the actual maze. And to me, that's actually the coolest part of this game. Everything is revolving around not actually having the player move, but having the maze move around the player. The player always kind of stays in the middle of the screen. Now, the project we just looked at, it actually started in the lower left-hand corner, and once you got up to the middle of the screen, then it was fully following you around. I'm going to skip that stuff. We're not going to look at that just yet. But for now, we are going to dive into the level design. So the levels, you're not going to be able to move it around if you draw everything as the stage. So we are going to do this by creating sprites that represent the different areas of the map. And to represent what we're going to do, I have a drawing here that we can reference. Let's see if I can get that up. All right. So right now I have a kind of grid here. So I'm going to say that my map is just going to take up no more than 4 of these boxes. And I'm probably going to be lazy for today. I might just take up 3. But we're starting on this one. So we can give these like names and numbers. I could give the numbers, but that might get confusing later on. So I'm just going to say this is row A, row B, row B, and 1, 2, 1, 2. That's just for us to have a decent idea of which box I'm talking about. We're going to start here. So our player sprite is always going to be in the center, but let's see where we can go from here. So I'm going to kind of just draw through my maze. So I'm going to go pretty simple. I'm going to go kind of start with a plus sign. It's going to look something like this. And maybe I go into here, have them go up, over, might have another vertical thing here. Don't ignore when I have the lines crossing. That's just me being lazy as I draw. And we can have like, keep it simple, just a T at the top here. And this is going to be my maze. So this is my maze. And what I'm actually going to do is I am going to draw each one of these boxes as a different sprite. So let's go back. And actually, let's just zoom in now that we're working. So I'm going to start off, and I am going to make my first sprite. So I'm going to hover over the cat icon, hit paint. Now we're drawing our first sprite. So I'm going to do this in a particular fashion, and you'll see why in a bit. So I'm just going to start off with a rectangle. I'm going to pick a different color than purple. How about light blue? Okay. And I'm going to choose no outline. So I'm just going to draw a big rectangle over this center area. That's going to be kind of like my background color. And for the paths, I'm just going to switch to a white fill color. And I'm going to draw some more rectangles. And now I'm going to make them a little wide just because I want to make sure that my, maybe not that wide. I want to make sure that my paths are wide enough that you can kind of actually navigate this maze. And it's not about bumping into the walls. It's about navigating through areas you can't see yet. So I'm going to start with this. Actually going, since I started with kind of symmetric plus sign, I'm going to move this around, center it on here. Good. And now here's the trick. Anytime you're designing mazes and maybe you want to have a consistent width to your paths, don't draw more rectangles. Instead, I'm going to click on this and I'm going to copy and paste it. So that's going to be Control C, Control V. You can see I have my second one here, and I am just going to rotate it. And see how it rotates freely? If you hold the Shift key, it's going to lock into positions. So I'm going to lock it to the horizontal. I'm going to put it right on the center, and I'll just slide these out and extend them just outside the outer bounds of this box. All right. I'm going to get this centered on the page now just by going over here. I'm going to set X to 0, Y to 0. There we go. And now you have the basis of my maze. So we don't see the yo-yo bot. We're going to fix that with code. We're just going to bring them to the front layer. But here is the trick to drawing the rest of your paths. So I'm not going to draw another. Instead, I'm going to duplicate. So I'm going to right click on sprite 2, which is my path, and duplicate it. Now I have a duplicate path. So this is going to help you line up your paths so that you're not trying to eyeball it. It's just exactly the same. So because we have this path here, it's going to line up the same as the first one. And so to see that difference, I'm actually going to click on this big rectangle that serves as my background color, and I'm actually going to just change it so we can see the differences easily. That's pretty good. All right, so this is my path. I'm going to bring this to 0, 0 as well. Okay, so this one's hiding below that one. That's fine. But what I want to do now is I'm just going to slide this over so you can see them. If I make sure that the y value for each of these is 0, you can see here, if I look at the stage, these line up perfectly. So now I can use that as a reference. And don't worry, we'll be centering these in their correct positions in a bit. So if we go back and we look at my drawing, I have this drawn right here. Now I need to start out with a T, with going over here kind of with a zigzag and then a T. So let's go back. And once again, instead of drawing, I'm just going to copy and paste the rectangles I have or modify them so I get that same wall consistency. So I'll do this. I'm going to copy and paste another one of these. This can go here. I'll shorten it so we get. There we go. I'll copy and paste that one. Hold the shift key as I rotate. And this one will just go like this, shorten it so you got like a dead end over here. Okay. So now I have my two levels, and let's just go back to my drawing one last time. Maybe not the last time, but now we're here. So if I go to the next level on this path, that means I'm going to want to duplicate this level in order to line up these paths. Let's go back. So now I'm going to duplicate the level of the maze that I just drew, or the part of the maze I just drew. And I'm just going to move this straight down. And I clicked on it, and now I'm just using the arrow key to do that so I can be exact. I can get rid of some of these. This one I'll use just because I remember that I just kind of drew a T based on my last level design. So I'm just going to draw a T like that, click off. And you know what? I'm going to select the background color. I'm going to change that as well. Let's do green, but let's drop the saturation so it's not so jarring. Okay. So now that we have that, we need to start positioning these. So I'm going to do a couple of things. One, I'm going to go to the Yo-Yo bot. He is going to, when the green flag clicked, I just want to put him at the center of the map. And I want to put him on the front layer, which I believe is in the looks category. Yep. So go to front layer. Perfect. So get him back. We're going to be changing this, but for now, we're also going to do the same for these levels. We're going to say when green flag clicked, go to, and I'm going to have to change these, but go to for this one, it's going to be 0, 0. I'm going to save myself and copy the code by dragging it over. 1, 2. Now, what values you put in for these might be confusing for some of you at first, so I'm just going to go back to my drawing and start labeling it a little more. So this point right here is x equals 0, and y equals 0, or 0, 0. The map is 480 pixels wide, or the stage rather, and it is 360 pixels tall. Now what that means is when I move this center all the way to the center of segment A2, that means I will have not moved up and down at all, but I'll have moved to the right 480 pixels. So that means this right here is going to be 480 480, comma, 0. Likewise, this B2 is in the same column as A2, so that's 480 as well. But now that we've moved up, we're going to have to make it 360. All right. So let's go back. And I'm going to do the same here. So X is 480 and 0. And then this for this one, we got 480. Y is 360. Perfect. Okay, so we'll click the green flag. Everything goes where it's supposed to. Good. Now, you may be used to controlled movements. So for those who don't know, I'm going to program it really quickly. So we want to forever determine that if our right arrow key is being pressed, we want to go to the right or in the positive X direction. And we have that working. There we go. And then if we click the left arrow, we want to go to the left or in the negative X direction. And you don't have to copy this. I'm going to get rid of it in a second. This is just for reference. And if we want to go in the up direction, we change Y by 10, and down direction, we change Y by -10. So this is how you move the character around the screen. But we actually don't want this, right? We want to make it so that the level actually moves around the character. So watch this. I'm going to copy this code over, bring it to the maze here, and I'm just going to disconnect it from the sprite, bring it to the level of the maze. Maybe it didn't. Ah, there it is. It's just over there. Connect it. Watch what happens now when I do this. Now it looks like we're going through the maze. It actually happens to be inverted. So I'm pressing down, character's moving up. So that's just a little clue here. We're going to have to actually invert our controls. But this works well if you have just, one level that you're trying to move around. But it doesn't work well if you have several levels. So we have to somehow unite all these parts of the level so that they move at the same time. And to do that, we're going to have to use variables. So I'm going to pull this off to the side for reference. And I'm just going to program this in the player sprite. That's not for any particular reason. It shouldn't matter. A lot of times people are looking for a central location. They'll look in the player sprite or in the stage. I've already been programming the player sprite, so I'm just going to go with that. So the way this code is going to work is we are going to create some variables, and they are going to be camera X for all sprites and camera Y. Both of those are for all sprites. And what we're going to do is we are simply going to tell each of these levels to go relative to where the camera should be looking. So I'm going to see if I can represent this with my drawing again. So just using my hands here, if I can. It's as if we are looking through a camera like this. My fingers aren't quite perfect, but we're looking through a camera and we're moving it around so you're only seeing parts of the maze. So let's go ahead and set this up. So when we start out, we're going to set camera X to 0 and camera Y to 0. And then I'm going to start copying from the code I have over here. Take this, pull this out. I'll just grab this one if statement. So if right arrow pressed, we are going to change camera X by not 1, not 10 or 5, but by negative, however fast you want to move. So I'm going to do -5. And I'm going to put this in a forever loop. We're just going to test this as it is. So I'm going to put that there, put the if statement in there. So once again, it's going to say forever. If the right arrow key is pressed, change camera X by -5. And the reason we're doing -5 is, if you recall before when I was testing this with just the one level, it had like look inversion. So I pressed to the right, it moved to the left. And I don't want that. If I move to the right, I want to move to the right. So now I have camera X, and we can just watch this. If I hold my right arrow key like this, you can see that it gets negative really quickly. So I'm going to refresh. So now we are going to say, for the first level, we're going to go to let's see. Oh, I need to put this in a forever block. Control, forever, go to, and now I'm going to go to my variables and I'm going to say go to camera X, camera Y. And as I run my code, as I hold to the right, it moves with me. So let's go ahead and program the rest of our controlled movements, and then we'll apply them to the other 3 levels. So I'm going back to the main sprite, and I'm just going to start duplicating and modifying my code. So now I'm going to do if left arrow key pressed, change camera X by +5. So now if I run my code again, right, left, perfect. I'll duplicate these 2. Up, down, and instead of changing camera X, I'm going to change camera Y. Up is -5, down is +5, perfect. So now if we look, we got that first level moving with us. The other levels don't move yet, but that's actually super easy to fix. Now I'm going to go to level 1 where I had that forever block, and it says go to camera X, camera Y. I'm going to bring this forever block and copy into the others just by dragging and dropping. So drag, it shakes, I let go. Drag over, it shakes, I let go. And now we have to modify this. So watch what happens when I run my code again. I move to the right. Oh, sorry, I didn't connect them yet. Let's connect that code in, and then we'll look at the problem we're going to have. So run my code again, move to the right. Now those levels aren't there. The reason why, they're actually hidden. If we look, oh, I got to stop my code. Move over, stop. They're actually hidden underneath. And that's because these need to be offset. If you recall the second level here, A2 going by my drawing, or this orange one, it's offset from the first one by 480 pixels in the X direction, and Y direction is no different. So I need to go offset that. But if you notice, let me refresh. Oh no. I'm going to just hide this for a second. Okay. So when I move to the right, you'll notice that we're moving in the negative direction. So when I offset the orange level, I have to offset it, I believe, by a negative number. So let's try that. I'm going to say go to camera X plus, and I'm going to do -480. Oh no, you know what? I'm sorry. Camera X already is a negative number, so positive 480 will work, and it will be centered once camera X equals negative 480, or once we've moved over one whole screen. So let's try this now. I'll add this back to the code. There we go. And now it works. So I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, why are we seeing level 2 when we first start our code? That's just because we overlapped the levels, and we'll fix that no problem. And then you'll see why I did these as separate colors. So let's go ahead and do the same for level 3. So I'm gonna bring a plus sign in, a plus operator for both of these, because we got to change camera X and Y. So 480 plus camera X, that goes in X, 360 and camera Y, and that goes in Y. All right, so now I can move around. I haven't programmed wall collision, so we don't need to worry about that, but everything is moving in line with each other. It looks pretty good. We just need to fix this problem right here. And I have a trick for that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the costume editor. This is my first level costume, and I'm just going to take in that background square just inside the border of like the sprite canvas. So the border, I'll see if I can zoom in and show you. Nope. So you see this border right here? That's the border of the sprite. So I'm just bringing it inside there, and I'm going to do that for each of these 3. I'm not touching the paths, just that background color rectangle. So go ahead and do that on your own. And then now that I'm done, I'm going to rerun my code. And it looks pretty good. Now you're thinking, kind of looks good. Not really. Oh, whoops. I clicked in my art editor when I was doing this, so I have to just undo this a little bit. There we go. I'm going to make sure to get out of my art editor. Just go to the code here. Let me do that again. I'll run my code. It looks pretty good. I know what you're thinking. Not really. There's these huge gaps between the levels, but here's the trick. At the end of the day, I am actually going to make sure that each of these levels has the same background color as each other. So for example, I'll click on this one. I would just use the eyedropper tool, make it eyedropper tool. My computer's getting a little slow, but you can use the eyedropper tool to try to make your background the same color as this. And then once you do, and if the eyedropper tool on PCs, it doesn't quite work like that. Macs, I think it does. If it's not working, you can actually just copy this from this sprite, go here and paste. And now you can use that as a cheat. You can use that as a reference, use the eyedropper tool, get that color, and then delete that part of the sprite. Now the gap's still there, but what we can do now is we can make the stage, that same color. So I'm just going to do a big rectangle for the stage, and now it fills everything in, and your map is seamless. Now, as long as the gaps in your level are smaller than the character, you're not going to have any problems with that. So I'm actually going to change the color of the stage backdrop, just because I do want to be able to tell the difference between my levels just as I'm developing things. All right, so that's actually the camera movements. It's not that crazy. We just set up cameras. Instead of changing the sprite's position, we changed the value of the cameras. and we make each of the parts of the map go to the camera plus its offset position, which in the case of this one, it's just 480 in the X direction. This one, it's 480 in the X direction, 360 in Y. So let me run my code and we'll see that it works. So I'm able to go through the walls. That's not much of a maze. So we'll program wall collisions. It's super easy. Going back to the main sprite, I'm going to grab another when green flag clicked block. Anytime you're doing something with controlled movements and then sensing for something else, it's best to have them as separate groups of code so that all that processing can run concurrently. So I'm just going to say when the green flag is clicked forever, sense for if I'm touching a color. I use the eyedropper tool to sense for my background color. Then I just need to reset the variables of camera X and camera Y to 0 and make sure you click the drop down to change those values. Now I'm going to test this with just this one color. Look at my screen. There we go. Goes back to the beginning. The only problem, of course, is that it doesn't happen when we touch these levels. If you want at this point, you can just copy and paste these if blocks and, use the eyedropper tool to change that. I'm actually going to get rid of that just because I'm going to have some shortcuts probably as I make this so that I don't need to go through the maze because I'm pretty bad at them. All right, so that is the main idea behind this. So we're not going to program everything today, but I do want to take a look at adding the wires you can collect or any objects you can collect. So for this, I'm just going to grab a sprite from the sprite library. I can always change these costumes later, easy enough. Let's go ahead and collect bats. Why not? So this bat is just hanging out here. I'm going to move through the level and I'm going to find a place where I want to put that bat. So that is right here. And I'm just going to shrink this bat down. Let's say it is going to be 25%. Now we can make him bigger. Let's make that 35. It's a little better. I'm going to put that. Actually, watch this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop my code, and it's important that you stop your code. I'm going to go to my second backdrop sprite, and I am going to center this by going down here to the sprite dashboard, making this 0, 0. And now with that done, I'm going to move the bat right there. The reason why I did it this way is I know that backdrop 2, or sorry, the second part of my maze, or part A2, is only 480 pixels to the right of the first level. So I know that my bat sprite here, right now it has the coordinates 20 and negative 117. What it actually has, though, is 20 plus 480 for an X value. So what I'm going to say is when green flag clicked, go to $480. I'm going to grab a plus block for this. 480 plus, what is that, 20? 20. I'm going to put that in here, and the Y value can stay the same. So I'm going to click the green flag, and that sprite's all the way over there. It's not quite what I need. It's in a good initial position, but I'm going to borrow from the other sprites. They move just the same, so the code should work just as well. I'm going to drag this forever block, put it right on the bat. There we go. And I'll connect it. And now we just need to change this go to XY block. So I want to go to, instead of 480, I'm actually going to duplicate this initial position and put that in its place. So it's 480 plus 20. And then for the Y position, it's actually just, I'm going to copy this as well. Negative 117, negative 117. Now let's try it. Click the green flag. I move to the right, and as it comes into frame, the bat is exactly where it's supposed to be. The only problem is we can kind of see the bat when we start out, and we don't want that. So what we need to do is when the bat should be in frame, we're going to show it, but when it shouldn't be, we need to hide it. So we need to look for the bat crossing the lower bound, the right bound, the upper bound, and then the left bound. So there's a couple of ways to do this. The easiest way is honestly just to kind of eyeball it. So if I get close here, this is where maybe the bat, if I go like that, I can see that the bat's wing is there. It gets pushed as it gets close to the edge. So I'm just going to get right around there. I think that's where it goes. So I have negative 770 is the X value. So I'm going to just start writing these down. Just going to put these in my notes here. Whoops. I'm going to make a comment. So I'll add a comment and I'll say left bound is negative 770. Let's try these other ones. So the bottom bound, I'm going to say something like that. Bottom is negative 70. And just because I know bottom versus top is going to be X and Y, bottom and top is going to be Y, and then left and right is going to be X. I'm just not putting it down. So top, let's see. Top is about 320. And as I move to the right, I walked into the level. So let's redo that. To the right, it's going to be negative 225. Okay. So now that we have that, what we need to do is stop our code. I'll click out of this or collapse it. Look at that later. So I'm going to say that when the green flag is clicked, I'm going to hide this. I'm still going to be going to positions, but I need to get an if-else block. And I'm going to say if it's within bounds, then we show it. And then if it's not in bounds, then we hide it. Now, what determines if it's in bounds? That's the question. And that's why we have our little notes here, because this part gets tricky. So I'm going to start out. I have 4 conditions that need to be met, and they all need to be met. It needs to be within the left bound, bottom, top, and right bound. So I'm going to have these 3 end blocks give me 4 positions. That's going to snap inside the if block. Now let's see. As I move to the, let's look at the right bound first, because that's what we're going to see first. As I move to the right, X becomes more negative until I hit negative 225. So, and then as I go beyond it, X gets more negative. So if I move to the right, that means that camera X needs to be more negative or less than negative 225. So I'm going to do that right now. So if camera X is less than negative 225, then it's good. And if we click on that, we can actually just drag this out. And if you click on it, it'll tell you whether it's true or false. And it says true, so checks out. we got the right bound. Let's go to the left bound. So as I move to the left, if I look at my notes, it's -70. Negative 770 is our left bound. So as I move to the right, I hit my left bound right around here, and now it's no good. If I move back, I start seeing negative 770 again. So I need to make sure that I am camera X is less than negative 225, but greater than. So grab a greater than block, greater than negative 770. And if we want, we can actually test our code now. So don't follow along with this. I would say just look at mine because I don't want you to get too lost. I'm going to put just these 2 blocks in here. I'm going to start my code again. The bat is not there, but as I move to the right, the bat appears. As I move to all the way to the right, it disappears again. As I go back, reappears. Perfect. The only problem is it doesn't happen when I move up or down, but I think we have the process down. So I'm just going to Control Z to undo what I just did. Get those 2 end blocks in there, and we're going to do the same thing for Y. So as I move down, I approach my upper bound or my top bound, which is camera, which is top equals camera Y 320. Okay, so as I'm approaching like this, I want to make sure that camera Y is less than 320. So less than camera Y less than 320. All right. And now for my bottom bound, I move up, and then that was negative 70. So I want to make sure that I am greater than negative 70. Whoops, gotta just go over here. There we go. So I'll click the green flag. There we go. That bat is representing what the wires did in the game we just looked at. And you can see sometimes it's pulling a little bit at it. That's because I kind of eyeballed these. If you want, you can just play with those values and clean them up. This is the general basis for the maze. I think you can probably go ahead and take care of gathering things, you know, adding a score variable and building a game from this. So I'm going to wrap this up, and I'm just going to do what I did before, change all those backdrops. So I'm going to copy my first color. I'm just going to use this as a reference so I can change all of my background colors to my main background. Perfect. Get rid of that. Same thing here. Click on that. Use the eyedrop. Oh, I got to paste it in first. And do that. Paste. Use my eyedropper tool. Get that. All right. So let's go ahead and try my maze now. Click the green flag. Oh, one more thing I got to check. That is my background color. Got to paste again to get this to work. There we go. All right, I'll click the green flag, and there we go. We have our maze. If we crash into a wall, we go back to the beginning, but we can navigate around. I can get that. I'm sure you can figure out that when these two sprites collide, you hide one, you can tally up a score, you can lock out the time like the game we saw, you can implement a timer. There's a bunch of things you can do once you get this kind of game physics going on. So go ahead, try this on your own, and I'm excited to see what kind of games everyone can come up with. Stick around for the other segments we'll be having today. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tech Talk. This is going to be Kidoyo's podcast style segment, and I just need to take the opportunity to distinguish this now. It is Tech Talk, not TikTok. I made that name before ever saying it out loud, and I regret doing so, but it was too late. So that's what we're sticking with. So today we have a topic that we're going to be going over, and that is regarding Windows 11. So I have a few people here with me today. I have mentor Jinx. In addition to Jinx, I have 3 student mentors with us. I have Zekram. Would you like to say hi?
Hello, everybody.
I have Zach
Hi.
and Xander.
Hello.
And I'm gonna give Jinx the opportunity to say hi as well. Would you like to say hi, Jinx?
Hello, I'm Mentor Jinx.
There we go. So today we're going to talk about Windows 11. So has anybody gotten to try Windows 11 yet?
I don't think any of us are Linus tech tips.
Exactly. No one's gotten to try it yet. We've just gotten to see what people say about it. So what do we think? Is anyone excited about it?
I'm pretty excited.
Other companies keep on trying to make themselves like Apple when all of Apple's products are like the worst.
I think we'd have some contention there, but I personally have an iPhone and a PC myself. I don't like an Android phone, but maybe Windows is promising that with the coming of Windows 11, maybe it'll make Android a little bit more
less
torturous to use. I don't know.
Android is not torturous to use. Slander.
I disagree.
Slander.
Getting rid of pre-installed Skype, that's all I care about.
They're getting rid of pre-installed Skype. What are they replacing it with?
They're not, which is great.
I don't know about that.
They're probably going to include something worse than Skype, knowing Microsoft.
True.
From what I understand, they are including Teams by default.
What is Teams?
What is Teams?
It's like Microsoft's Zoom.
It's like Microsoft Zoom, or what if Microsoft had FaceTime? Like, I think maybe that's what they're going after, and just trying to like marry that with better Android support, like the ease of having FaceTime on your phone and having that built into Windows. But I don't know. I have FaceTime and I almost never use it.
Yeah, I'm looking here and it does show like features that it will have as Teams is on there. So no.
But I think we should look at one of the most notable differences. That is this crazy new logo. It's so different.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously the logo is not like
God.
a world of difference, but
They've made it even more generic. How is this possible?
I can't say I mind when there's subtle differences in logos. I never look for them, but it's a little... Yeah, I don't know if they made it more interesting. I think they're going for like a clean aesthetic for Windows 11. I mean, I guess they always are, but I don't know if this
I want to go back to the days when operating systems all look like garbage.
Well, we haven't gotten to test this yet, so maybe that's the case. So I don't know about you guys, but I've always noticed that with Windows 11, it kind of follows... with Windows, it kind of follows a format of like a good operating system followed by a bad operating system. So if we go back to like somewhere like Windows XP, there are still people today who use Windows XP just because they have software that works with it and it was a functioning operating system. Then they came out with Windows Vista. And Windows Vista,
ME?
Windows Vista was terrible. After that, they came out with Windows 7. Pretty solid.
Yeah.
Then they came out with Windows 8 and confused everyone with like those dashboards. And then they came out with Windows 10. So I don't know. Is Windows 11 going to follow that format? Do we need to wait for Windows 12, or maybe I don't know what kind of naming convention maybe they'll just start skipping things, just like Apple. By the way, if you hear any background noise, the thunder and lightning here is crazy. I'm kind of hoping I don't lose power, but it is just like a fireworks display right now. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, it's a little rainy out for me, but no lightning.
It was like that for me like maybe an hour ago, but not anymore.
Yeah, I had some earlier.
Well, it may be coming soon. All right. So who has any details they want to talk about specifically?
Ooh, snipping tool being changed to snip and sketch. Very unhappy.
You're unhappy about losing the snipping tool?
Yeah, so I have looked into snip and sketch, and while snip and sketch is basically the same thing, the ancient snipping tool UI is very familiar, and I will be sad to see it gone.
It's like the difference between Paint and Paint 3D.
Yes.
Like, I can't say I mind having the snipping tool on my computer, but I can say that since Snip and Sketch came around, I have not touched it. So for a while, I did have a Mac, and just taking screenshots on a Mac, be it like a specific area or the full screen, was always so easy. And then I went back to a PC, and I was so frustrated that I couldn't, like, I needed to open up an app and click on that. Like, now I can just like hit three keys on my keyboard, trace a square around something, it's copied to my clipboard, and I keep going. It's so much faster. I can't ever imagine going back to the snipping tool. Do you guys still use it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Use it all the time.
Why not use Snip and Sketch?
I think part of it is because I didn't know Snip and Sketch existed.
Oh man, you need to get this. You need to get that shortcut set up on your computer and start using it, because I don't think you'll want to go. I don't think you'll miss the snipping tool.
Okay.
Can you directly copy images out of snipping tool? Because most of what I use snipping tool for
it automatically
like when I'm working on stuff for clients.
It automatically,
it and send it to them.
When you snip something, it automatically puts it in your clipboard. So you can just snip something and then paste it immediately.
Well, that just seems like too streamlined. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't like life being that easy. You need to have a challenge.
If life's that easy, like, have you ever seen the humans from WALL-E? Like,
I don't know if I was burning too many calories with using the snipping tool, but I guess you have a point.
No, you got like a whole 3 clicks per action there. If you're using Snip and Sketch, that's just 1 click.
Yeah, I can't imagine the muscular strain I was putting on myself every day, just moving my
losing
fingers
out
that
on like
extra amount.
5 whole calories burned there.
Maybe 0.5 perhaps.
So I think you can run Android on Windows 11. How do you guys feel about that?
I think it's pretty cool that you could run like Android apps on it.
Yeah, I think like in theory it's cool. It seems like maybe really late to the game, but welcome. I think it comes down to how well will they do it? Because I think everyone wants to be able to more seamlessly go between their phone and their computer, setting aside all the privacy concerns that pops up. But to do so would be real nice. I don't have confidence that it's going to go well. I don't know. I'd like to be proven wrong, but
yeah, actually, speaking of privacy, you said I know they're for some reason no longer including Cortana in the first boot experience or the taskbar, which I am a big fan of because Cortana has been linked to some privacy concerns, and that seems to imply that it might be possible to completely disable. But we will see.
they just called it something else.
True.
They're like, we're gonna give her a new name, and now you won't know. Now you can't turn it off. I don't know.
Dude, I miss Windows 7 search so much. Like, I remember on my old Windows 7 computer when I could just search something and have it show up immediately, rather than Microsoft trying to spoon feed me advertised internet results.
Speaking of which, the widgets, and that's you didn't speak of which, but I'll get to why I said that. How do you guys feel about the widgets?
I think they're kind
It's-
of copying Apple.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of copying the worst ideas they've had. Windows Vista, one of the big things is people had widgets and it was a mess. People would have widgets all over their screens. I don't think it ran well. The widgets weren't useful. It was just a mess. And now they promise that it's going to be good this time because it uses AI. And I don't know about you, but anytime I hear AI, I think, okay, so targeted advertisements. You're gonna pin targeted advertisements in it somehow.
And they already basically do that with Windows 8.
Yeah.
So a good part about the widgets is the start menu is more clear. I mean, in Windows 10, they put widgets in the start menu, and the whole start menu is like a mess. If you want to click something, you have click a sub menu above another sub menu above another sub menu. But in Windows 11, the whole start menu is more clear. I mean, most people will say it's more like Mac, but I think it's a better user experience.
How about they
You
just
know
get
what?
rid of widgets altogether? That's a good idea.
Yeah, it's interesting. You say that, Jinx, and like I just realized like this is a picture of a start menu. Anytime I hit the start menu, like I am literally only looking at all of this stuff right now. I only ever used what was always on Windows from back in the 90s. I've never glanced at this ever. I don't know if they could make that useful. Maybe it's good. Will they? I don't know.
I was gonna say, like, I
Two
don't
different questions.
think I've ever intentionally clicked on a widget.
Yeah, never intentionally.
Maybe the weather widget is the most useful one.
Yeah, but I have a weather widget right now. I'm not showing that part of my screen, but like it just says as if I didn't know right now because it's torrential downpour by me. It says weather alert and raindrops in the bottom right-hand corner of my Windows 10 computer. And I didn't need, I don't know if you just heard that lightning that struck like down the street, but I didn't need Windows for that either. So what about its purported increased support for games? So I'll highlight that bullet point right here. It promises auto HDR and some direct storage that's supposed to make sure that gaming goes a little more smoothly, looks a little better. Anyone excited for that?
When I hear the words increased support for games, that makes me think they're going to shove the Windows Store in your face.
Maybe.
That's what
I
that
don't know, but
phrase screams to me.
I think they are talking about just higher quality and maybe better connectivity with Xbox, but I didn't read too much about how it relates to Xbox. Anybody else take a look at that?
I think that the auto HDR could be pretty cool because apparently it doesn't need like anything to be done from the developer or the player. It's just fully automatic to do it.
Yeah, I'm always for a better gaming experience because that's mainly what I use Windows for at this state. For
other stuff on a computer, are you using Linux?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think in Linux Text Tips video, he made a snarky comment about how Windows is highlighting that it has snap layouts so that you can snap things to the left and right of your screen, and it's a brand new thing that has only existed in a bunch of operating systems and a bunch of different Linux distros. So,
yep.
I mean, I guess it's good that Windows has it. But that said, I don't know about you, but I've always had it on Windows. I mean, I guess you have more control, but I just use my trackpad to snap things left and right. I'm not going to do it now because then it'll just disappear off the stream. But if they can make it better, I guess that's cool. But
yeah, I'm not even really sure what what they were getting at there, because I think I've always been able to do that on Windows.
Yeah. In fact, that's what I was always frustrated about back when this is years ago, but back when I had a Mac, I couldn't snap windows to the left and right. I'm like, this is silly. Why don't you have this?
Anybody like that TMP requirement?
Which requirement?
Oh,
TMP, Trusted Platform Module. You need to have TMP 2.0 to install Windows 11.
So I saw a lot of controversy surrounding that. So I'm not extremely familiar with TMP, but all I know is that a lot of people immediately made tools to get around that requirement because it was for some reason a problem for a lot of people. If anyone knows more than
if your computer is manufactured before 2016, most likely you don't have that TPM 2.0, and you cannot install Windows 11. But I heard somebody can use software to simulate that part to bypass the requirement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I also found it kind of weird if that is like the sort of the bottleneck having TPM. I find it weird that it supports like 4 gigs. Like I don't think I've heard of a laptop or computer coming out with 4 gigs of RAM within the past couple of years. So like those don't really mix.
I mean, theoretically, it could happen.
It could, but
a lot of people complaining about that part. Maybe Microsoft will change that requirement. And I think the most important reason is if you have TPM 1.2, you are running some very outdated secure algorithms like SHA-1, which is not recommended 10 years ago. Yeah, that's the reason.
All right. So this is our first segment. We have a bunch of things we're going to talk about in the future. I know Jinx wants to talk about Python, the new Python. What is it? 3.9, correct?
3.10, which will release this October.
3.10. We'll talk about that. We're going to have episodes where we talk about building our experiences with building our own computers. Various things happening in tech news. So hopefully we'll have some fancier backgrounds in the future, but make sure to stick around for Mentor Mike's game review. We have one more mentor lesson, and then we'll be releasing the Game Jam theme for this week's Game Jam. And once again, everyone can participate in this as long as you have a Kid Oreo passport, and you can submit on the wall. We'll have challenges, we'll have badges, and we'll also be featuring the tournament that the student mentors are going to be competing in. So that's all we have for today. Thanks for watching this segment. Mentor Mike's game review will come on soon.
Dwarves. I'm Mentor Mike, and with me is Mentor Zen. Together we're going to give you a quick look at this game since we've had real fun time playing this over the past couple of years, and we think more people should check it out. We recorded a bunch of gameplay together and cut it down to a set of highlights that we think will showcase a nice vertical slice of how this game feels to play. Without further delay, enjoy the rest of the video.
Alright.
Alright, so all your dwarves are customizable, obviously, and if you are playing a game as a dwarf, you should make sure you have the most luxurious, largest beard possible. See, largest beard, largest sideburns, largest mustache, everything.
I have the largest beard my power armor will allow.
Even the largest eyebrows, but I don't even have my eyebrows visible under the goggles, but I make sure to choose the big ones, because that's how you know that you're truly a powerful dwarf.
And still balding.
Yeah, it's still balding, right? So, this is the hub area. You can do, this is just a fancy menu. So you can choose your wardrobe, you can change your characters, you can change your equipment. So for different characters, you can unlock different guns and gear as you level your character up, because there is progression in this game. So as you do missions, you get experience, and you unlock the ability to upgrade your guns or even get different ones. I unlocked this gun here. So the scout has the ability to choose between a small machine gun or a precision rifle. I use the precision rifle because I like being accurate. And they also have a shotgun with them. Every dwarf has a pickaxe because, as the title and the characters may suggest, we are dwarves, and our main goal is to dig most of the time.
Yeah, and this game is like thematically based off of Tolkien's dwarves. So, you know, they're small, fat, love money.
And they eat the rocks, too. They eat rocks.
Do they eat rocks?
Yeah, they eat rocks.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
I mean, I'm assuming that's what it is, the red sugar.
Oh, yeah, the red sugar.
So, let's get to the mission selection. Let's just get on the road here. So, there's many kinds of missions in this game, and I don't want to do the egg missions, but let's see what we got. Let's see, we got collect bolo caps, protect the drill dozer. How about we do the drill dozer? That's a fun one.
Yeah, that's a great one.
All right, let's see, hazard. We can handle what? Hazard 3? Hazard 3 should be fine.
They made the hazards a bit harder. Hazard 3 is like a hazard 4 pre whatever their update was. So I don't know if you've played it recently.
I haven't.
Yeah, hazard 3 is probably good then. It might destroy us, but we'll see.
Alright.
Mission selected. Powering up the drop pod. Get on board, team.
And you gotta remember, gotta slap the dice or else you're not gonna win the mission.
Oh yeah, that's right. Slap the dice.
We're leaving. Launch sequence initiating.
Leave no dwarf behind.
You didn't sit down, now you're gonna die. Just gonna smack into the top. Yeah, we're tiny dwarfs, we can't even get that much inertia.
Don't let the bugs get me.
Not everyone's in the 1%.
Slap the dice.
Oh, yeah, I gotta make sure to slap the dice on the way out. How could I forget?
An Amaran Heartstone in the region. Your job will be
Oh, yeah.
to escort and maintain the autonomous drill dozer as it homes
Yeah, we don't need to mind that yet.
Yeah, so we have our main objective and our secondary objective. We have the drill dozer, which I think it will be in another cave. Yeah, we still have to find that. If you hold tab, it's a very, very cool map. I've never really seen a game do a map like how Deep Rock Galactic does.
Yeah, so this map is generated in real time. It's procedurally generated.
Cryo grenade!
I accidentally threw a grenade.
Oh, here comes the drill. There we are.
Where is it?
It just bored through the ceiling. Yeah, so when you open the map, you can actually, it sort of live scan sonars your surrounding area, which is very, very cool. It allows you to see your objectives through surfaces, and you can see the tunnels that they dug down with. When we play on this, in the top right, we have our
starting objectives. We have our Bulu caps as our secondary objective. I have one too. And then we have to use our little mule, which the dwarves affectionately call Molly. Oh, what is happening? What have you done?
I wanted to get the nitrite. So
there we go.
Let's go.
I notice you aren't really placing your flares right now. You're kind of being a useless scout.
Yeah, I know. I'm just. We're getting there. All right. Like, here. Let me put my flare. There. Now we can actually see. I was just getting some nitrous. So I was just demonstrating. You're gonna be digging a lot in this game. Because you need to collect all the resources, particularly that nitrite I was collecting is how you summon more ammo supplies and equipment. So you obviously have a limited amount of ammo and grenades and everything, and if you run out, you can't defend yourself anymore. So what you need to do is you need to look for those outcroppings of the red nitrite, and then mine it. It costs what, 50 nitrite or 100 nitrite?
Yeah, something like that. I think it's. I remember it being like more around the 50 range.
80. It's 80 nitro.
Yeah, 80.
Nitro, nitrate, whatever. So, in this mission in particular, our job is to. There's a big drill dozer in here. Gonna activate it.
Oh jeez.
Crush myself. And we are going to defend this big drill as it goes and.
Let's make sure to get this nitro.
So there's gold up here too.
I'm on my way.
Oh, you have the zip line.
Later, nerd. Yeah, so while you collect all these resources, since we are not just your average dwarf and we are space dwarves, we have a minecart on legs. Who, the dwarves they're not really too fond of this minecart on legs. She takes her slow time, and so every time you call her over, usually the dwarf will give a sarcastic remark towards the little. Let me see if I can get one.
Ollie, over here.
That one was probably the tamest response I've ever heard to this minecart. Yeah, so while this game is like individual mission stage based, there are long-standing goals that you take on in this game. So even though you're going into individual levels at a time and performing missions, you can collect things that will help you in your next mission, or just get you like cosmetics and other items like that. So now we're writing our mission objective here, which is, once again, another personified. You can actually pet this thing once it actually gets going.
Yeah, so the thing is, what this is showing right now is, let me open up the map. The whole point of this game, the big gimmick, is that the whole level is completely destructible. So if there's a wall and you don't like it, you can just get rid of it.
Now we get to deal with the aliens. Oh, there's one right there.
So yeah, this game would be pretty boring if there wasn't anything to defend yourself against, so these caves are home to all these bug creatures, and you have to make sure that they don't get you before you're able to get all the resources you came for.
Oh, those are return.
Oh, boom caps.
Yeah, get that. Make sure we complete the secondary objective.
Yeah, there's a secondary objective. You don't need to do it, but you get more bonuses at the end if you do.
And all your main objectives will always appear in the top right. So in our top right, you'll see the drill dozer has become our main objective. It has the remaining amount of fuel, so eventually we will need to refuel this thing, which should be coming up soon. And then you have to maintain the integrity of the pieces of the drill before they get destroyed by the glyphids. The theme of this game is that you're just a simple contractor worker for the larger Deep Rock Galactic, which is sending you out here to mine this asteroid at the cost of your life. So the reason why you're such cheap labor is there's just a lot of insects that you gotta fight here. So it's not really a nice job for these dwarves. There we go. Yeah, look, you can pet the drill dozer. Hit E on it.
Yeah, pet him. Wait, how do you pet him?
E. Yeah, I was just petting him in so I can.
Good boy.
Alright, so now we have to fuel this up. So this is the objective to continue this drill dozer going. We have to take the canisters out and to locate fuel, which some is right there. I was just about to ask, would you say that this is likely made with the marching cubes? Because I was just thinking, this seems like it would be something that would be a marching cubes algorithm kind of thing.
Marching cubes. Can you explain what that is?
So yeah, the marching cubes is a type of style for making polygon games where they're usually used for games like these where you can subtract from the terrain. It's essentially where you would take a bunch of cubes, like the name would suggest, and the algorithm merges them into a more like fluid shape. So maybe you have like 3 cubes next to each other, and the marching cubes would turn them into a low poly sphere. And the reason why this would be used in a game like this is since this algorithm is being performed live, you're able to subtract cubes from the terrain, and it makes it look as if you are mining in a more fluid way. Which looks something that this game might use, though there are other methods of achieving that same thing. A lot of like, you know, just polygon meshes being deformed.
Yeah. If you like look closely as I'm mining, everything gets removed in big cubic chunks. It's not like fully like you would expect in real life, because obviously that would be technologically extreme to handle even for the computer, never mind programming it.
So yeah, exactly. When you mine, these big chunks come out at a time, and even this one is actually kind of cube-shaped, which, you know, suggests to me that instead of this being a simulated like polygon terrain, deep beneath we're seeing tons of different cubes that the player can hit and deforms the terrain in a bit more of an efficient way. So that's something to definitely look into. I know Sebastian Log does a video about marching cubes that's very cool for people looking into it. It's definitely a more complex, like, game dev CS principle.
Yeah, and you can check that out if you're interested in the algorithm. I'm sure that's how it's being done.
Yeah, it definitely looks like that to me. Oh, I hate these little things that sit on the floor. Where's the, see any other fuel?
I need to repair the Jilldozer. We already lost a leg.
What? How did we manage this? Alright, I'm gonna power up Loretta.
No, I got there first.
Oh, wow. I hate these scouts.
Alright. Our chance of success is low.
Yeah, so this is the hardest part of the mission. They're all gonna come at us, and we're trying to make it into the Unwarren Heartstone. This is our end mission. We gotta get whatever's inside of here out. Alright, well here comes the swarm, and oh my god, there's an oppressor.
What, there is?
Yeah, I've got it at half. Yeah, these oppressors are very scary. If you've seen the Praetorians before, who have the glowing thorax that are hard to hit, these guys are just like them but better. And by that, a lot better. Oh my god, please get to repairing. Yeah, I got it. I'm coming down.
No, I
didn't want to.
I didn't want to.
We both did the same.
Repair. Hold on. I got him. I got the bugs.
Oh no, it's attracting a rock.
Oh, shoot the rocks! Shoot the rocks! Shoot the rocks!
It's gonna kill it. Yeah, no, the rocks actually aren't that bad.
Yeah, this is what always got me in this mission. Oh, lights.
Alright, and as you can see in the actual like top mission, there's like 4 stages to this that we have to get through.
Yeah. So, your character is much better. The gunner's better at dealing with the rocks, so I'm gonna go around and deal with the bugs while he deals with the rocks.
Yeah, if you could find nitro, I don't even know if there's gonna be any, but you know, it would really help.
Nope, there is not gonna be any.
No, there's gonna be, and we're gonna find it, and it's gonna be so good.
It's okay, Loretta, you're gonna be fine.
Oh, done it.
We did it!
Oh man, we did it. We did it. The drill there is.
Rest in peace, Loretta. You got it.
Ah, grab her. Yeah, put it on Molly. It'll fit.
Where's Molly?
That's a good point. Let's call Molly over. I think she still might be on the opposite side of the cave. That useless.
Hello. Be nice to Molly.
I love how
like, it's just like strapped to rubber bands.
Oh yeah, let's call him the drop pod.
We're sending in the drop pod. Head for LZ.
Just to my ammo to just clear this out.
Slap the dice on the way in.
Slap the dice. Let's move. Oh yeah.
We did it. I'm not in the chair.
I can't believe it. Yeah, no, you're gonna die again. It's a shame. I can't believe it.
Time to collect our $5 paycheck.
Yeah, we did it. Chad walking our way back to the station.
Oh, I should mention this actually. So in your mission selection list, different areas will actually have different events occurring on them at different times. So if I were to do this mission right now over here, the Fear Stream Mining Expedition, it has the modifiers of lethal enemies and Mactera Plague. So specifically, it will have harder enemies, so more of the powerful, big, beefy ones, and also more of the Macteras, which is a type of enemy that you can fight in this game. Like over here, there's lethal enemies, but also has rich atmosphere, which I'm actually not even sure what that means. By different. Oh, I can have green beards. What?
Oh my god.
That was worth it. I have green hair now.
Let me see you.
Oh, I can buy even bigger mustaches.
Yeah, I have one of the larger ones, I believe.
Oh, there we go.
Everyone needs at least one of those.
Big mustache.
I think I have the Bismarck.
And big sideburns.
The worst part about the driller is that he doesn't have a beard by default. Like, what kind of dwarf is this guy?
Yeah, honestly, part of the character building process here is making sure you maximize your beard efficiency.
You gotta have a lot of beard on.
And of course, the developers put much careful attention to making sure that the mustache and the beard has jiggle bones. Making sure that it flows gloriously in the wind.
Gotta get the...
That's nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's good B-roll. Oh yeah.
This is the best part of the game. That's incredible.
Oh! I found the first boss.
I'm opening it. Honk. Uh-oh.
Alright, let's go.
Let there be noise.
I don't even think that my flamethrower will do anything against this thing. Oh, that's why it has to open. Wait, uh-oh.
We gotta break the armor off at first. Oh, we gotta get the guards. Once the sentinels go down, then the armor.
I'm demolishing them. They are passing on. I just gotta hit him with a little bit of gas. Oh! There we go.
Gotta hit the things on the sides.
I'm just smoking them up.
Hit the big squishy parts.
Oh wow, he got squished up pretty quick. Whoa, he does not like being hit in the squishy parts. I have no idea why. It seems very uncharacteristic.
Listen, he's the stupid one having his armor open like that.
Yeah, why would you open it? Just keep it closed.
That's what it's there for. I honestly don't know what his plan is. Alright.
Alright, he's opening up. Oh, I'm out of ammo.
We just gotta get behind him.
That's a problem.
Got it!
Oh,
Woo!
yes! Finally. Alright, let's pop him open for his goods. Open up. Oh, he doesn't have any goods.
No, he doesn't have anything.
That is... wow. What is the point of this game? If not for... Oh, wait, these guys! Wait. Come back.
Oh, yeah.
These guys, you can ride on them if they get close. But I don't think they're gonna want to get close. But maybe you could, like, zipline to them. The Mabula Cave Angel. Oh.
Hold on, I'm getting these
Molly
gum
carries
seeds.
minerals, and
Yeah, that's another thing. We're only playing on like hazard 3. There's 2 hazards above this.
Yeah.
And it gets real wacky then.
this is a friggin' hellhole.
Alright, well,
So
I guess we
wait-
can find... So
Make
there's
her wait to
another...
the next Eggy. If you see...
Yeah, there's a...
Yeah.
Eggy.
Yeah, if you see the main missions that you have to get to are highlighted on the map. So we have several options since and Yeah. So since Zen is the driller, you see, you can just drill down to the next objective.
Yep, we're just drilling right to the egg. I can smell the egg. We're just that close. Uh-oh. I opened it?
Oh, you opened it! Oh, no!
How did I even manage? I could, like,
Go, keep going.
You can't even see it here.
Keep drilling.
Okay. I just lit the area on fire. Uh-oh, don't go down.
Oh, no! Oh, no, you're dead.
Yeah, you can jump down and then, like, grapple up and then get me. Do you have the insta-revive?
Oh, I do. I think I do.
Yeah, because while you revive, just left-click and then get me up.
Light is up.
I did not expect it to be as much of a chasm as it was. Oh my. Oh my word.
I don't need to use it. There you go.
Alright, I'm back.
So yeah, if you run out of health, you don't instantly die. You can have your friends revive you.
It's good that I died to show that up. Oh, I'm on! Look up! Yes.
Oh, you got him.
Flying away to safety. Oh. Uh-oh. That was not safety.
That was absolutely not poggers.
He's right here. That's it, I'm cooking you. How do you like it? Red
It's this
sugar.
big slam attack you gotta watch out for. His armor's out.
He hates me. Oh my god. Alright. Alright, time to cook him again.
Ow.
You like barbecue? Why is he running away from me? Is he scared now?
He's coming after me.
Uh-oh. 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 He's not scared anymore. Oh my god.
I'm gonna get the tri-jaw.
Oh no.
Oh no, there's an elite Praetorian.
There's so many little guys. I've never seen these. Here we go. I'm just gonna try to cook him again. You'll have to be the real damage dealer because I'm just gonna sacrifice my life. Oh, cook! Cook! Cook!
Yes!
Yes!
Oh!
Oh, we cooked them. There we go. Alright. I'll drill to the last egg, which is up in this way, so here we go.
We need to resupply.
Yeah, you get the resupply, I'll make the drill.
Don't release him too early again.
Don't even have to worry about it, I'm there. You just gotta wait for this mule. Huh?
Goodbye!
Oh my god, there's a Praetorian here. I'm glad we haven't had like one of those bulk detonators yet.
Oh, you mean the ones that friendly fire us and can kill the whole team?
No, like the bulk detonators are like nuclear bombs with legs. And they just like... Oh, smack the dice.
More bugs. Dice.
There we go. Should really give you enough time to sit down in these seats. Yeah, we did. 2 for 2. Can't believe it. I'm driller level 2 now.
Now we got a bunch of extra experience for doing the hard event. That took us 30 minutes on the dot.
Oh wow.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, this game's a fun cooperative time with your friends. Definitely a lot of variety, lots of different things you can do. It's definitely unique. I have never played anything similar with combining the terrain manipulation with the cooperative gameplay. Like, the closest thing I could think of to changing the environment as much as you can in this game is maybe Fortnite. But Fortnite's kind of out of style at this point, I think, and And that's competitive when this is purely cooperative. And because there's only 4 people max in a game, you can do a lot more with the environment manipulation on the technical side. So you saw that we were able to edit the map pretty much in any way we wanted to.
Booyah!
Hold on to your butts. Commencing gravity calibration.
Oh no, what did you do? Oh no, I forgot about this. I'm over here trying to like say things, intelligent things about the game, and you're here turning off the
Well, this is
gravity.
a good
like
way. We can fly around and show cool parts of the level.
Oh,
The
man.
level design on the lobby is very, very good.
Yeah, since you know, with every cooperative game, there's always the issue. There's always the issue if someone needs to go to the bathroom, someone needs to go do their character, and everything. There's a lot of stuff to walk around here and look at. You can choose your assignment board, which is you can unlock new features, new weapons by choosing these and doing a sequence of missions. You can go and edit your character and your wardrobe.
You can play Kick the Barrel, which is a very fun game.
Yep, you can kick the barrels into the launch bay and make your boss mad at you. That's always fun.
And there's just a lot of stuff to explore. There's a memorial hall where you can acquire achievements, which is very nice if you want to actually head through there.
Yeah, so moreover, more than the functional things like choosing your missions here in the whole map or choosing your assignments, upgrading and customizing your equipment. There's also just fun things you can do, like Zen was saying, the memorial hall could come up. And honestly, this is one of the most detailed hub areas I've seen, and they honestly didn't need to do this. I always appreciate when the developers put the care into their game to like do things that are just clearly not necessary, but just add so much more to the flavor of the game.
No, exactly. So we have the memorial hall. You unlock different statues, shrines, or all these like monuments, posters.
So this is another thing. This was an early access game when I bought this, like even 2 or 3 years ago, and they keep on constantly adding more and more stuff to this game, and they're not done working on this game at all, from what I understand. So when I played, this promotions wasn't even a thing. I don't even know what this is.
Yeah, I gotta grab.
And they have like a prestige system almost.
Yeah, I don't know if you can upgrade your class or reset your level, kind of like you know, Call of Duty prestige system. Or I guess everything has a prestige system now. There is no competitive mode. Like there's nothing like you know, Fortnite or you know, Counter-Strike or Team Fortress where you have to you know, kill other players, fight other players. But I think that benefits this game a lot, where it focuses on co-op and it does the co-op well.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's always what I've thought when you know, seeing games that have like, you know, like a game is obviously built to be single player, then they throw a multiplayer on afterwards, and it's just not very good, and no one plays it anyway. Like or you know, or the opposite, where you know, a game is clearly meant to be multiplayer, and then they just throw a single player on for seemingly no reason. Like this game, they knew what they wanted to do, then they made the game, and I really respect that out of these guys.
So before we finish out, I think it's a good idea. We'll just give a little bit of a rating of this game, because that was an idea we had before. So out of like 1 to 10, 5 being your average game, you know, a good game, something that you would probably play, what would you give this game as a rating to other players recommending to play this game?
Well, it all depends on what you're looking for, right? You know, as a shooter, it's more than competent. And as a cooperative game, honestly, I really can't think of a pure cooperative experience that I'd rather play right now, because you know, you have like Left 4 Dead, you have Left 4 Dead 2, which is probably the closest game I could think of. Maybe Left 4 Dead 2 or even Killing Floor. Killing Floor.
I don't know if you've ever played Helldivers.
I have not played Helldivers, no.
Helldivers is very, very similar to this game, but it's a bit different. It's like a top-down isometric where you like call things in by doing Dance Dance Revolution on your keyboard.
That sounds fun. I mean, so I personally don't like giving numbers to things because people usually interpret anything less than an 8 as bad, which isn't the case when I think of it, and I think of 5 and think of average. However, even given that scale, I would give this game like a strong, solid 8, maybe even.
Yeah, I would give an 8 as well.
If you have if you have a group of friends, a group of 3 other people that are really into it and you can really work together on the harder difficulties, this game can easily be a 9 or even a 10.
I think the major downside of this game is the fact that it is still in early access. There's not the full amount of content that it will have when it's completed. And so, honestly, with this game, just adding more and more content that they plan, new and more missions, you can extend the gameplay time. And I definitely think this could become an easy 9.
Yeah, I mean,
with more work.
That is always the risk with early access games. It's like you don't know if the developer's going to drop it or not. However, I know these guys. I bought this game like over a year ago, and they're constantly building, and this game's just getting better and better. Like the game was good when I first bought it, and there wasn't even half the content that is in there now. The clips that we did, we only did 2 missions, and there's way more mission types, and even a mission type that I like where we have to connect a bunch of hoses to a big driller and maintain them, and you can like grind on them. It's real fun. We didn't even get to do that. I'll show you. There's more biomes. There's an ice biome where you slide around everywhere. We have to worry about getting frozen. There's a volcano biome. We have to worry about lava spurts and getting set on fire, falling into lava. It's just an all-around good time. Even if you don't have friends, again, there is a matchmaking system. You can get matched with other people and play with strangers.
There's a solo system.
Yeah, there's also a solo system, like we said before. You can use you can customize a little bit of a drone, but I would say, honestly, just straight up, I would say this game probably isn't worth playing if you're going to be playing it alone. But
No.
even playing with strangers, I think, could be a good time. But really, the game is strongest, and all of its strengths come out to shine.
This area is off limits to regular miners.
Please stop talking to me, Mission Control. The game shines the most when you have a group of friends that you can really dive into the harder difficulties and get that intense gameplay that this game really can offer.
Deducted from your pay at the end of the month.
Exactly. Well, do we have any closing statements? Anything else we want to say about the game before we finish off, or we'll leave it there?
I mean, we can leave it here. The game is currently on sale. We're recording this video for the Steam Summer Sale. The game's very cheap.
Oh yeah, everything's on sale.
I think the game's like $30 even.
Yep, the game's now
at
at 30. It's $15 at the moment, 50% off, which ends July 8th.
July 8th. I mean,
summer sale.
So when you're watching this, you probably have a few hours left to go buy it, and I'd say there's a lot worse things you can spend $15 on. Like, this is a fun time.
And the developers are very active. In fact, actually, the developers are streaming playing their own game right now. All Nation, they got a couple cool people together.
Yeah,
always
always good to support independent developers. Also, not a big development studio behind them, so they don't have. They have all the creative freedom to make the exact game they want, and that's always when the most interesting things come out. The only really bad thing I can say about this game is that the art style is hit or miss. It has it's not quite as bad as other low poly things that I've seen. But it does have a little bit of an I'm an indie game kind of art style. That that's just what comes with it, you know. Like, they don't have the big budget of the big 4K graphics and millions of polygons in every model. They focus on the gameplay, and the graphics are good enough. The graphics are far from bad, so there's no
exactly.
So there's not really. That's like the biggest nitpick I can even think of. Otherwise, there's nothing really overtly negative I can say about this game. And I think, that's that. We can probably call it a wrap here. I'm Mentor Mike, and with me is Mentor Zen.
It's me.
And
so true.
I guess we'll see you next time. For next time we highlight another game.
All right, see ya.
All right, everybody. We are not going to be showing our last lesson. We're going to push it to next week's stream. We ran a little over schedule today. Also, we've gotten lucky so far with some of the weather, but there's been some pretty bad lightning out here, so we don't want to go too far with our luck and risk losing power in the middle of a lesson. So we're going to wrap it up today. We'll have that lesson next week, as well as a number of new sessions. I did just want to go over what there is going forwards and what there is regarding the game jam. So I'm on the Code LI wall. If you've been viewing this and you want to see how you can be a part of it, you can go to kidoyo.com and look at the Kidoyo Passport. That's how you can access all these events, as well as all the tools on Oyo class, from the Scratch language, Python. You get your own website. We'll have more details about that in the future. I did just want to look at some of the events that we have coming next week. So starting tomorrow, we have Minesweeper in JavaScript. We have some sessions regarding creating an audio visualizer in Lua for Roblox. Asteroids in Python. We also have Legends of Zelda in Python. And as you can see, we have many, many more sessions. These two in particular, I'm pretty interested in: Snake and Breakout in JavaScript. Just to show you, if you go to kidoyo.com and navigate to events, you can see all of the different sessions we run here without being logged in. So if you ever wanted to take a peek at some of the sessions we're running, even if you're not already signed up, you can just do so by going to kidoyo.com and clicking on events. If you did want to sign up for the passport, you can always click join now, and that's how you can get started. Now, without further ado, I want to announce this week's Game Jam theme. So the Game Jam, once again, the idea is we release a theme, and it's going to be vague, and you create a game within a week for that theme. We are going to be having a challenge and a badge associated with this. Additionally, we are going to have a competition among the student mentors, and that's going to be in a tournament bracket. We'll release that next week, and you can see all the crazy projects they come up with. We might even let you all help us vote and decide who wins. We're also going to feature some of the projects that everyone else makes. So if you make a really cool project and want it featured on the stream, you can hit us up on the wall here, and we will take it into consideration, and you might see your project here on the Dark Mode stream. So, without further ado, the Game Jam theme for this week is Out of This World. So for this theme, we have a challenge, and with it, an associated badge. This one looks awesome, if I do say so myself. We're not going to say anything too specific. Take this as you will. Out of This World can mean a variety of things. Be creative with it. Originality matters a lot. It doesn't need to be in any particular language. It can be in Hatch. It can be in Python. It can be in Unity. If you can somehow figure a way to get that to us, it can be anything. So we definitely want to see your creativity. Don't be afraid to submit to the challenge. Don't be afraid to share it on the wall, though do be mindful of exposing your source code if you don't necessarily want people to copy it, at least for this week during the Game Jam. And with that said, I'm going to go ahead and I am going to release this challenge for everybody. Already visible? Never mind. So you can go ahead and click on challenges at the top, and you'll see the Game Jam Out of This World challenge is now available. So go ahead, start making your projects. We'll be taking a look at them as they come in. Don't be afraid to share them on the wall. Sometimes we'll spotlight them on the wall, and like I said before, we'll spotlight them on the stream as well. Once again, for anybody interested, you can go to kidoyo.com. We have the events here where you can take a look, and we also have the Kidoyo Passport available to you, not to mention the shop where you can get a bunch of cool t-shirts, You can get Arduino kits, a whole variety of things. And with that said, this is the end of the first dark mode stream. We haven't lost power so far, and we'll take our luck as we have it.